Did I ever tell you guys a Scientology story? So, this is like fucking, I don't know how many years ago. This is, Bill Clinton was still in office, I think, when this happened. And basically, I need to take an acting class. I'm living in Los Angeles. And I needed to take an acting class, right? So, whatever. So somebody suggested this fucking place, and I went over there. I think it was the Beverly Hills Playhouse was the name of this fucking place. And I went over there, and I show up for the acting class, and the teacher goes, this is so fucking weird. He just goes, oh, his big class was packed. And it was a well-known actor too, so I was like, "Wow, man, this is going to be a fucking great class." And it was a great class, other than the fucking creepy vibe. So to start the class, the guy goes, "Okay, does anybody have any news they want to share with the class?" All right, so people raised their hands, and basically it was actors talking about what they booked that week, and and there's a thing, I guess, amongst actors as you're starting out, you get envious and you get jealous. So I guess this was a reaction to this. What this whole exercise was about. People put their hands up. This is like, fucking the mid-90s or some shit. And someone would be like, yeah, I just booked, I booked a guest star on Friends. And then the whole class, like ridiculously loud and for a ridiculous amount of time would just go, whoa, whoa, like clapping and screaming like somebody just cured cancer. And then it all died down. I was just like, what the fuck was that? And then somebody else goes, oh yeah, hey, I just booked a reoccurring on Union Square. Whoa, it'd be crazy. So then once that shit dies down, I was immediately like, hey, man, I knew LA was a little different, but what the fuck is this? They go, hey, we got a couple of new students here auditing the class. He just moved here from New York City. Please welcome Bill Burr. And they clapped and cheered just as loud as they did for the other people that book like Friends. But here's the thing, when they were cheering, no one was looking at anyone. They were just sort of staring straight ahead, clapping and screaming as loud as you possibly could. And I remember like my face turned red, like I got embarrassed, like what the fuck? And then that's when I after the class, we took the first break, and the actor teaching the class, and the actors were great, other than the weird vibe, right? So I fucking go up there, and the guy goes, "How you doing?" And I looked at him, I was like, "Doing good." Because he's a great actor, he totally read me. He goes, the beginning of the class was that a little bit too much? I was like, yeah, it might have been. So I go into the back, now they're going to try to get the money out of me like every acting class does. This is nothing against Scientology. So that's when I sat down, and that's when the guy was just like, we're very self-sufficient. We have our own security. We have our own parking. Everything was their own. And that's when I said, Jesus Christ. I just had to break the tension. It was so fucking weird. So I just made this joke. Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm joining a cult. It was me and this other kid sitting there. I don't know what the fuck ever happened to him. I don't know if he's clear yet or he fucking moved back to Iowa. I have no idea what. But the guy made like this weird face when I said it. And so I left, and I was like, wow, that was fucking weird. But it was still like it was a good class, though, And I really liked acting class and that type of shit. And so I was still kind of on the fence. And I ended up running into somebody later on that night, I think at the Laugh Factory, and I mentioned, and the person was like, where was the class? And I said it was at Beverly Hills Playhouse. And he just goes, Bill, that's Scientology. Get the fuck out of here. It's an acting class. They said, no, but they're trying to recruit you into that religion. So I got all fucking weirded out. And, they just kept calling, leaving messages on my fucking answer machine. And then that's, finally they called again. And I'd been ducking them for like 3 days. And after 3 days, I was just like, I thought they were watching me and shit. I got all fucking paranoid. Not saying they were, but I just, I'm a fucking conspiracy theorist. Last thing I need is an actual cult fucking hounding me. That was not good for my psyche. So finally, after 3 days, they called again. And that's just, I was like, what am I, a fucking bitch? I can't just call these people up and say, go fuck yourself. So I just picked up the phone. I'm like, hello. And they're like, hey, Beverly Hills Playhouse. I go, yeah, man, I'm all set. And the guy's like, oh, did we lose you? I was like, yeah, you did. All right? Don't call me anymore. He goes, okay, fine. And then that was it. They left me alone. But that was, I think it's because it was early on. You know? So I didn't have to deal with Donald Sutherland like when I walked out to my car later on that night just pointing at me like an invasion of the body snatchers. You know, not to say that Scientology is any more or less fucked up than my religion, you know? I've always maintained that if the Inquisition was filmed, like my religion wouldn't exist anymore. That's what happened with the Nazis. They filmed this shit, so no one's ever going to forget it. The shit that my religion did was never filmed, so it's just like stick figures and drawings, and no one cares. You know what I mean? But to actually have the actual footage of like, oh yes, not only did it really happen, this is what it looked like. It's a fucking wrap. What am I talking about? All right, let's get back to fucking the subjects here I wanted to talk about instead of Scientology and Holocaust footage.